Hey Gen Max, I hope you're having a great day because I am having a great day. I'm here at the construction site that is our future home in Todos Santos, a home that we're going to be renting out as an Airbnb. So if you'd like to stay here, that's a possibility coming up in late 2026. But I wanted to go through some of the process that we've been through since we bought this place. I think that was probably where I left off in my last video was buying this place, and I think I gave you a tour of what it looked like. And so just as a reminder, what it looked like was not a lot of light, especially on the ground floor, a lot of tiny little rooms with bathrooms, tiny little kitchen. And we had Carlos from Baja Custom Homes come out and visit the site before we bought it. And we said, Carlos, can we do something with this? And Carlos said, yes, you can do something cool with this. The bones are good, so go for it. And we bought the house. We hired Baja Custom Homes to do the design work with us. So that was a process that took a few months. We actually started the design work before we had closed on the house, with the idea that if we got to the point where the house didn't close, we were only out a few $1,000s at that point. So we kind of did it half and half. The design, kind of the architectural design before the house closed, and then after the house closed, that's when we went on to like the structural engineering and some of the more detailed things. So about half the architecture was done before we closed. So it was a great process working with Baja Custom Homes and the ladies over there, the architects. We met with a couple of times in person, but mostly it was online using Zoom. So we would just have Zoom meetings every couple of weeks where we would go through and they would send us some drawings that we could print out, and then also they would go through and show it on the screen, and they would show us like what they had proposed, and then we could say, oh well, we want to move that over there, we want 2 sinks there instead of 1, or 1 sink there instead of 2, and we came up with a design that we are really excited about. And they did some 3D renderings for us. They kind of like built the whole thing into a 3D model so that we could see it. We could see what it was going to feel like when we were in the living room, for instance. So as we were walking in the new front door, this place really didn't have a front door before. And so now we've got a really amazing, gorgeous front door that we're putting in. And, a little area out front just to be kind of covered from, I guess, essentially the rain. It doesn't rain here very often, but we wanted to have a little bit of a covered area for guests to be in when they were entering the home. And 1 bedroom, the primary bedroom, on the first floor. So it went from 3 bedrooms and a kitchen on the first floor, along with 3 baths, to the kitchen, living room, and 1 bedroom with 1 bathroom, and then another half bath for guests. So big changes on the first floor. The second floor, we're doing some, planned some changes up there, not nearly as drastic. And then up on the terrace, we were planning on removing the wall and putting in a structure up there, to kind of like a pergola structure, so you could hang out where you've got the views of the ocean. So the big thing was tearing out those walls on the first floor, and also like really opening up the walls that are facing the ocean, facing the future pool. It was quite a process to go through, to kind of plan out and think about things, and go through and be like, well, where do you want the light switches, and where are you going to put fans and things like that. There's a lot to be thought about as you're going through architectural planning. But Baja Custom Homes took us through that whole process. So once we got complete with the plans, the next step was bidding. So we're looking at, we wanted to have 2 or 3 bidders, and so that we knew we were getting a fair price. And we ended up with 3 bidders, and Baja Custom Homes, which was the company that we were most familiar with, came in as the middle bid. And then there was a lower bid, which was someone, actually, I was interviewing his wife for this channel, and she said, oh, my husband is a home builder and he built this house, and it's a gorgeous house. I'll have a link to that video in one of these corners. And I was like, oh, interesting. And she's like, well, would you like him to bid? And I said, sure, let's do this. And he came in with a bid that was just under our budget. And What's great about that is we're able to put solar panels on the roof. That's the plan now, is using that extra little budget that we saved. We're planning on investing that into solar panels that are going to go up on that pergola on the roof. Is not going to be a pergola, just a pergola anymore. It's going to be a pergola of solar panels. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll talk more about the solar installation in a future video. But in this video, I want to walk through where we are right now in the process. And you can kind of hear probably some of the pounding in the background. So I'm going to do a lot of the narration from over here and walk you through the building. Some of the first things they did was start knocking out walls. So the demolition, we're still in the demolition phase here. One thing I do want to mention though is with the new contractor, with Antonio, and his contact information will be down below because we've been really super happy with him so far. He proposed some design changes to the architectural plans. And he's like, oh, well, what if you did this? And he had some really creative ideas that were little tweaks to what we had drawn out with Baja Custom Homes, including these wood beams back here. So Baja Custom Homes was using steel beams and just a few of them. And what he has proposed is to change that up to be a whole bunch of wooden beams across the ceiling, so they're beautiful and provide the same amount of structure as those just couple of steel beams. Yeah, some creative ideas. And one of the ways Antonio is able to keep his price low is he doesn't have an office. So we met at all these different coffee shops around La Paz. I should have a playlist that I'd make just of coffee shops. I love trying out new coffee shops. But right now, the first thing they did was start busting out those walls on the first floor. So as you see here, this used to be just individual doors, and now it is wide open. And there's going to be two big sliding doors here that slide into pockets. So when you slide the doors open, you won't see them at all. So there'll be big glass doors. When they're closed, you'll be able to see out, but when they're open, you won't see them at all. So you'll just kind of flow directly from the veranda area into the different rooms. So the first room here is the future kitchen / living room. And now you can see all the way straight through to where the front door is going to be too. And we purchased a door. I've shown it on this channel. It is just a gorgeous door. And they had to open up a bigger opening than originally planned. But it's going to be gorgeous the way we enter into the space. So the idea is you get pulled through as you enter through the front door. You get pulled through and you go around this kind of curved bar area, which is going to serve also as the dining room table. And you go straight out and flow directly into the outside and over to the pool and the palapa structure. So it's kind of a design that really is pulling you out of the house and into the outdoor living spaces. But here we're going to have off to the side here is going to be a half bath, and then the next thing over is going to be the primary bedroom, door to the primary bedroom, which is going to be huge, probably bigger than we needed it, but it was two small bedrooms that we combined into one, and then it will have the primary bathroom off here. And right now you're seeing straight through between the half bath and the primary bath. And of course, this will also have those big pocket windows or pocket doors. Now we're going to go upstairs, and they just started working on this week. This was, as of last week, they hadn't touched this room, but now they've broken open a door that is going to be out to a new little balcony area on the north side of the building. And Kat really wanted this because on the north side of the building, it's really shady all the time. So it's going to be a nice small balcony that is a cool space to hang out with some French doors, I think, leading out to there. And that's going to be on top of the structure that's right above the new front doors. And on the other side here, you can see that this is once again opened up. This used to be just two windows, and now it is going to be a really big, wide open space. The bathroom here they haven't touched, also the room that we're staying in. So Kat and I come here about once a week to check on construction progress and also just hang out in Todos Santos and enjoy our time in Todos Santos. But we stay on this blow-up air mattress now. This is kind of living on a construction site. So let's go up top though, because they've made some big progress up here too. So this staircase that we're climbing up now is going to go away. It's a really steep staircase, and it was taking up room in one of the bedrooms here. And so we're just going to take this out, and we're going to put a spiral staircase on the outside of the building. That was another idea that Antonio had, because he's like, I really don't like this staircase. It's in this room. Now the new spiral staircase will be outside, so it'll be shared by the 2 rooms upstairs instead of having to go through one of the rooms in order to reach that. Kat's considering another spiral staircase from the ground floor to the kind of the balcony on the south side of the building, so that you can go all the way to the top from the bottom without having to go through any rooms. Up on the top, this had been a 4-foot tall wall that surrounded a good chunk of this Mirador. This big open space up here was really broken up. There was like a 3-foot wide walkway around the outside, and then this 4-foot tall wall, which we found out actually could be because the previous owners like to nude sunbathe up there. So there's a little juicy nugget for you. But now this is all wide open, and this will be completely open. This staircase and this little pop-up area here will be going away. Yeah, we're just gonna put solar panels up here in a structure with the solar panels on, so you'll be able to sit underneath the solar panels and get some shade. And interestingly, the solar panels that they have now work both sides. The bottom side and the top side both work, so they get the reflected light, and also when the sun is at a really low angle, they can still collect electricity before it really hits the top of the solar panel. So it's kind of a cool concept, and it's a way to get a little bit more energy out of the solar panels. But we plan on having the solar panels along with batteries so that we do have backup here. The power does go out, especially in the summer. It goes out every once in a while, and it's nice to not have to worry about that. And because we can, according to the current budget, we can afford the solar panels, we're gonna go for it. And hopefully that stays the case as we go through here and we don't end up spending more money than we're expecting. It has been a great process. And like I said, I'm really happy with it so far. The contractor has said that it'll be finished by the end of May. So I'm giving a timeline of the end of June or July. Hopefully he doesn't watch this and realize that we're counting on it going a little bit long, because every construction job always takes a little bit longer than you expect. So that's just kind of my expectation that I've set. We did talk to other people that have used the same contractor who've said that he came in on time and on budget for other projects. So I'm kind of, we did our due diligence, I guess. We weren't just trusting that the low bidder was going to be able to get us a great product. But so far, I've been super happy with him. So if you have any advice for us as we're going through this process, leave that down below. Also, the horse, we're still not sure what we're going to do with the horse. If you've seen that, it's been preserved and is sitting off to the side now. We have been doing some landscape, like cleaning up the landscape here. Of course, that's big on Kat's agenda. We met Frank and Ashley, who live right behind us, who are having to deal with our construction noise. Went out to dinner with them. Great neighbors so far. And Marta is our Mexican neighbor that's right next door. On the other side is a big vacant lot. It is, if you're wanting to buy a vacant lot in Todos Santos, it's 1 acre. And it's priced at $750,000 US. So if you want to buy that, get in touch with me and I'll hook you up with a realtor. Otherwise, I'm going to have up here another video, maybe the first video of picking out this place, and so you can look back at that, or other videos from Todos Santos down here. So from our new place in Todos Santos, wish you were here. Hasta luego.